My name is Tony Peuquet. I'm with Chester Incorporated. I'm a sales engineer with them. I've been there for 16 years.
And you are really the brains behind everything.
I try to think that, but
the other two guys are like,
I get humbled a lot. I take a lot of criticism. But as a salesman, you got to pick yourself up and go
get back in on the next
you
call.
just keep going back in.
I'm Adam Peuquet. I'm with Chester Incorporated. I'm the older of the three brothers. I've been around with Chester 22 years, 23 years. And I was in the business a little bit before that. In high school, I did some internships there. And then before that, I would come into the office all the time, just like my brothers would. And we'd tinker around. And I always found an inkling to wanted to be an architect when I was younger. And then found out I couldn't sit in front of a computer. So the next best thing is to build buildings, be out in the field. And that's where I started. And now I'm in sales with Tony, leading that drive for the future, and helping Drew and my brothers plan Chester's future for the next 50 to 75 years, hopefully, or longer.
Drew Peuquet from Chester Incorporated. I am the CEO currently. My role is overseeing the whole company, leading it into, kind of our vision as brothers and owners now, carrying on the legacy from my father, and not only my father, Charlie Bowman and Orville Redenbacher.
How have each of you sort of embraced being part of that family company through the years?
Learning to embrace that legacy came from those first 3 to 4 years of hardship. And, it wasn't our first jobs necessarily. We had tried to go out on our own and do other things. But when we had finally gelled and had come back, it was a difficult time. And so embracing that legacy was almost like we realized how important it was to stay diversified. We realized you can't just focus on one thing at one time. You have to think big picture in order to get past the hardship.
Tell me about some of those milestones that you remember as Chester has, as we've discussed it, sort of grown, evolved, adapted, expanded. What are some of the memories that you first think of?
Well, some of the memories that I have of Chester growing and evolving are from where our beginnings were with popcorn and to where we are today, building multi-story buildings, 100,000 square feet plus, all over the state, outside of this state, and it's come a long way since then. But you can see that back in the 70s, it was agriculture based.
My memories growing up in the business were agriculture. I mean, the company picnics were always this big event. And Orville and Charlie and some of the, Mr. Harrington and Jack Finlay, they always had this huge company picnic. And it was family members. It wasn't just employees. And they would have it down in South Central, outside of Brookston or Wolcott, Remington area. And I just remember going to this, and it would be farmer after farmer, and it was just this huge event. There was bingo going on, there was beer drinking, there was, you name it, it was going on here. There were tractors, like Drew said, they would bring snowmobiles to show off. It was just this giant community, and all too often, like we're sitting here talking about our community just being Valparaiso, but Chester's community was just so big. And all too often we silo ourselves, a company, you're a big CEO, you're an executive, but that's not the case at Chester. We're reachable, we're touchable. We want to be a part of the communities that we're in. And a lot of it is Valparaiso, but by default, because we've been headquartered here for so long, but we try to do a lot outside of that as well. Our agricultural headquarters is in North Judson. We try to do as best as we can to help with some of the fundraisers out there, and we get to meet a lot of people that way, and that's the key. That's really key. Our employees are phenomenal people, and they're smart and they're strong, and they all support the communities they're in.
Yeah. It means a lot to our clientele and the communities we're helping out too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are like, well, you're not even from around here. Why would you have any interest? Well, you're here.
Yeah.
As my customer, you're here. So yeah, I do have interest.
Yeah.
And this is why.
And we are invested. And
Yeah,
it is for the
absolutely.
long haul.
Yep, we are invested.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Is we want them to know we're invested. We're invested in our people and their people, and that's going to carry on as long as I'm involved. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If they're
Awesome.
successful, we're successful.